G'day viewers, I've come to the special home for the special boy.
Hello, check out my bruises on my arm. Check that out, check that out. That's just bruised.
And that actually looks better than the other day.
Yep.
I was in here on the weekend and I had the camera and I'm going, yeah, the kids have to sleep at some point.
Yeah.
They don't need to see.
They don't need to see him.
No.
Not like this.
No.
And then they took some bags off and then they wiped some effluviant up.
Yeah.
And then they made me have a shower.
Yeah.
And 2 days later, after a massive brain seizure, I'm actually looking better than I did on the weekend.
Yeah, and the thing on your neck is like not there anymore either.
Yeah, which was special because there was this thing on my neck and it came out in a big lump.
They jammed things in his neck and caused
True story. Actually, true story.
It was basically several different kinds of not good, is what we're saying.
Yeah, think of hair jewellery that got really carried away.
Yeah, yeah. So if those bruises freaked you out, and I might even in post-production try and accentuate the colours because there's some pretty purples in there. It's actually better than a couple of days ago. But I thought I'd come in and switch the camera on because AIDzee's going to have some jaw surgery tomorrow.
That's right. This might be the very last time you see me speaking normally into a camera.
Yeah.
Because tomorrow I'm going to have this bit of my jaw chopped out. And there's going to be either a little bit of jaw left or no jaw left at all. And so I'm going to have a big hole in there, and it's going to make our two heads look very strange indeed.
And at a best case scenario, AIDzee won't be very talkative for a little while.
No.
There'll be many hurties, lots of hand gestures, probably hastily scrawled notes.
And some tears.
Yeah. Yeah, they have promised to give you the good drugs though.
Oh,
but
they have.
He just doesn't. I see AIDzee's definition of the good drugs and the volume that is required
is different to what they say. And from tomorrow evening, I'm going to be making sure that one of us's point of view has been carried across. In
fact, it could be fair to say AIDzee's version of drug intake has more relationship with a Turkish prison than a medical facility.
Yeah.
But
But one of us is in the right.
Yeah. And AIDzee's got very definite opinions of who that is.
Absolutely.
And he's not afraid of expressing it forcefully with the doctors. In fact, one just barely missed a spray the other day. If you've seen Code Grey, you'll recognise it. If you haven't seen Code Grey, go and see it. I'll put a link. In the early days of AIDzee having rheumatoid arthritis, there was a miracle drug that was very expensive, and they thought, oh, we won't tease him, we won't even tell him that this exists because it's not covered by the government.
And he's just a shitbag comic, he can't afford it.
And as AIDzee points out, Codes Grey, he could have done a benefit, friends would have rallied his support, but they didn't tell him, and basically the then government's policy of you don't deserve that medicine crippled our man. So he's not well disposed to that. And the other day, a doctor's just making shit up around AIDzee about, but you've got some inflammation, could be infection, maybe there's still a bit of the rheumatoid arthritis. We could try this miracle drug.
And I'm going, no.
And AIDzee's saying, no, there is no rheumatoid, and they never had that on the pharmaceutical benefits scheme when I needed it.
When I needed it at the time.
And the doctor's just glibly going, but we do now. We could just throw it at you for shits and giggles because it doesn't cost. And it's like, dude, stop talking. What you're saying is the stuff we wouldn't give to you when it would have helped.
When you needed it. When you needed it so bad.
I'm just saying we'll just throw it at you for a fucking laugh.
Yeah.
It'll do nothing, but who cares?
But whatever.
And I'm sitting in the room going, well, AIDzee's being really calm, which means he's looking for something sharp.
Right. And meanwhile, our man is going,
yeah.
He's just like shaking his head.
I'm trying to catch the doctor's like,
no. And I've gone like really, really, really calm, which is always ugly. And
which, again, that's one trait we have in common that occasionally have to explain to people. It's if I'm acting really calm and focused and controlled while expressing displeasure, one ought to tread with caution.
Or run. Just
Yeah.
fucking run. Just get out of there.
Something we both do. It's sort of like just before the cobra strikes, gets really still.
Yeah.
So, but yeah, that doctor got out with his life.
He did.
But you're bound to have many adventures with them in the coming days.
In the coming days, there's going to be adventures ahoy, and we'll see how it goes. I might not be able to talk for months.
Yeah. We can
so
learn.
I'll have to
come up with sign language.
I've got a little whiteboard at home.
Oh, I just had a vision. You ever watch the Colbert Report?
I did.
The segment he has called The Word, where he's saying something and a text joke will come up next to him.
Right.
We could maybe do a variation on that. You could have a little whiteboard and I could be saying one thing and you could come up with either complimentary or conflicting disparaging statement to hold up next
Flick
to me.
it up.
That could work.
That could work, yeah.
See, we're
thinking-
used to dealing with what we've got, essentially.
Having to jump and adapt. As a young man in today's world, you've got to be ready to jump and adapt to whatever life throws at you, throws near you, or offers to you in a foil wrapped packet.
Yeah, and look, just incidentally, as we're sitting here, we're in the women's hospital at the moment, aren't we?
We are in the women's hospital.
It's a big complex, and we came over here because there were seats over here.
And they were nice chairs, and then we didn't look like we would be thrown out
and
in a
we've got
hurry.
this lovely Indigenous artwork as a background too.
Which is fantastic.
But we're sitting down, AIDzee and I are the same height, but for some reason I've noticed this every time we sit down, like when we do the movie stuff.
Yeah.
My head's higher than yours.
Yeah, I know.
And considering everyone always thinks I'm a midget,
right,
this is like making you look 5 foot tall.
I know, right?
But we are the same height, and I think the thing is I must have shorter legs and a longer torso, so I look a bit taller sitting down. And as when I do the gesticulation, first the camera foreshortens for a thing. But I do, particularly with this ridiculously large head, you can actually see our heads next to each other. That's not a trick of the camera.
No, that's a real thing.
My arms look too small next to my head, so some people do wonder if I have dwarfism. No, I've just got a really big head.
You've just got a massive melon head.
I mean, 5'8". It's not like I'm playing basketball.
No. But I mean, if you come up next to his massive melon head and you go, wow, that could capture satellites.
Yeah, I have so much fun, like when I'm meeting people, if I happen to be wearing a hat, just for shits and gigs, I go, no, try my hat on. And the average person, the hat that sits here on me just sort of goes, ka-tinch, and the only thing stopping it from swallowing it is like their nose, usually.
Yeah.
It's just, it's a ridiculously large head. But it did protect me from a discus in high school.
And you got to love that.
Yeah.
You've got to love discus protectors.
I've told that story. Discuses are what do you think is the plural of discus? Discuses? Discus? Discuses?
Discuses.
Is that a Latin word? Discus? And so I think it would be disques in Latin.
Would be disques.
I don't know if you do it in English, but anyway, I got hit and they're fucking heavy, is all I'll say, right? I don't recommend it.
No.
It's kind of like if you start telling stories, AIDzee has approximately 1,000 stories to delight and horrify.
True.
I've got a few. The discus is my most colourful one. Second most is the uninspiring. I've got a crooked finger. Naughty finger got smashed by a cricket ball at school sport. And classic country town walk it off bullshit. After I'm trying to hit a fast bowler and I was wearing no gloves. I was wearing no protection and fast bowler smashed my fingernails hanging off, there's a bit of blood. And they just sit there, you'll be fine. And I'm going into shock, right? And the ovals happened to be just up the road from where I lived. I'm trying to remember if they made me walk home or if the teacher actually drove me home. But I was really sort of, and my mum decided, hey, why not take him up to hospital? So the country town based hospital had to wait for fuck knows how many hours. And when they x-rayed it, that bone's fine, this one was smashed. And they never bothered to set it, so all the little bits joined up whichever way they wanted. So that finger's crooked now.
Yeah.
But the highlight of that, because I was in year 10 at school, so I'm like 16, and you know when you hit something like a finger, if you hold it out, it throbs and it's painful, so you got to hold it up. And this was also wrapped up in bandages, so it stuck out like that. So I was walking around like this all the time.
Yeah.
And so all my mates are just going, let's go up and talk to a teacher. Just look, there's the principal, go up and talk to him.
Yeah, let's go, come on.
So I'd be talking to the principal like this.
Hey, Mr. McInerney, how's it going? Oh, yeah.
And they will find that hysterically funny.
Yeah, I would still today.
Best line I got from that was from a girl who didn't particularly like me, but I had to give her credit for coming up with the best line. It was this finger bandaged up, and she goes, so you finally decided to pull your finger out.
Hey, well done. Well
Even
done.
when you don't like someone, you've got to acknowledge.
You've got to acknowledge a job well done.
So, if you're not talking soon, you're probably going to be writing. Because we've been talking for a while. Code Grey was a stage show AIDzee did a couple of years ago at the Melbourne International Comedy Festival. And we were talking about doing it as webisodes. AIDzee's trying to keep a straight face. We just had the gawping of the people walking past going, what do you think that is? They've got an electromagizmo pointed at them. They're talking like AIDzee's importance. And I just pretended they weren't there. So yes, we've been talking for a while about redoing
Code Grey
as webisodes, like 5 to 10 minute episodes.
Yeah.
And also because you had to cut off the show, so there would probably, if we did 5-minute episodes, there'd probably be like 20
I
episodes.
really need to get my computer fixed.
Oh, that too. Yeah. Better right.
Just to let you know.
Yeah. And so cut down to 5-minute episodes. It'd probably be about 20 episodes.
Yeah, probably.
Because you could just embellish to try and stick it under 60 minutes, which you never really succeeded in.
Ever.
You had to leave bits out, but this way you can just embellish and add things and make it for the internet generation. And it's a pretty specky story.
Yeah.
So that'll be something.
That'll be something to look forward to.
Yeah.
And also there's a new series of That's the Last Time I Buy You a Hat.
Yes.
Coming up. Which is a really simple thing. You'll get it immediately once you see it. But it's a really simple thing, and there's going to be a few people involved in that.
Yeah. So this is just us explaining where AIDzee's been, what he's doing now,
Where he's going,
and future updates as they come. Really,
as they come.
So yes, now you know. And I'll talk to you soon. He might just glance at you meaningfully when I get him on the camera next.
Yeah.
Who knows?
Who can say?
Who can say? But one way or another, we'll see you later. Bye.